Photo by Maddie Meyer, Getty Images. I have to say, the Chicago Bulls surprised most of us last season. I don't think anyone expected them to be more than a bottom 3 team in the NBA. Their roster was one of the worst in basketball, but a few unheralded guys stepped up and played well. That sounds nice, but the Bulls are still a lottery team. They are still a team that is pretty far away from competing for a title. At this point, competing for the 8th playoff spot in the Eastern Conference would be nice. What does a team like this do in order to get back into the thick of the playoff race? For starters, it's not going to happen in free agency. Higher-profile players won't come to Chicago if they're not going to have a chance to win a title. That comes once you have a solid core in place which is already competing. So, from here, it's going to happen via the NBA draft over the course of a couple of years. If the Bulls draft well, things will turn around. If not, it's going to be more of the same. This year's draft class has some intriguing names at all positions, but the Bulls are going to need to find either another wing or a legitimate force in the paint. Thankfully, Chicago has 2 first-round selections beginning at, most likely, number 6 overall. Obviously, the draft lottery could change all of that. For now, let's assume the Bulls are slotted at the 6th overall pick following the lottery. Along with that, they have the number 22 overall selection. The Bulls currently have 0 picks in the 2nd round, so I'll take a look at a couple of guys who may go undrafted that they could take a shot on over the summer. Page 2, photo by Andy Lyons, Getty Images. 6 Michael Porter Jr. SF Missouri Bulls fans have been hot on the name Michael Porter Jr. for quite some time now. Ever since being a top recruit out of high school, Porter has had the superstar label attached to him frequently. Coming into his freshman year at Missouri, Porter had everyone on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what he would do at the collegiate level. Unfortunately, his season was cut short due to a back injury suffered in the season opener. Porter returned later in the year but only played a few games. Assuming he's healthy and fully recovered, Porter figures to go anywhere between picks 4 through 8. This could be perfect for the Bulls. At 6'10", Porter has had his fair share of Kevin Durant comparisons. But they might just be legit. Porter is a do-it-all type of guy offensively. He has the outside range, as well as the moves to work inside and finish. People didn't get to see all of what he could do at Missouri because he was still working his way back and couldn't get into rhythm. Leading up to the draft, he has only gotten healthier and his draft stock should continue to rise, hopefully not too much for the Bulls' sake. Porter would immediately give the Bulls another starting wing alongside Zach LaVine, and between the two of them, the athleticism would abound. Both can score in bunches when they get hot, and Porter's size would command quite the mismatches at times. What could cause Porter to fall to the Bulls, outside of his health, are a couple of things. First, he tends to rely a lot on his pull-up game. That's not going to cut it at the NBA level. Porter is no Stephen Curry and will need to be a little more creative in how he opens up his offensive game. Also, although he is athletic, Porter does use this to his advantage more often than not. As a pro, his defenders will be much more athletic as well and he'll need to adapt by improving his ball handling and the manner in which he goes to the basket. Overall, Porter would be a dream for the Bulls at number 6, a realistic dream. If he's there when the Bulls make their first selection, I would be floored if he's not wearing black and red by the end of the night. Page 322 Mitchell Robinson Chalmette High School. Count me as one who is on the Mitchell Robinson hype train. Maybe I am just a little too excited over the fact that this kid is skipping college, or maybe he is actually going to be that good. Either way, Robinson would be a phenomenal value at number 22 for the Bulls. Some teams may be scared off of the fact that Robinson took a year off after high school in order to train for the NBA draft, but if he's there for the Bulls, he'll be the pick. Robinson had originally planned on going to Western Kentucky, and actually enrolled on 2 separate occasions, but ended up dropping out to solely focus on his future in the NBA. To most, that sounds like a young and dumb mistake. Count me as on the fence here. After already notching themselves a first-round selection within the lottery, though, the Bulls could afford to take a shot on Robinson if he is there. At 7'1", Robinson definitely has NBA size. But he lacks the strength. He weighs in at just about 225 pounds, which will make it tough on him playing against bigger, stronger guys. Let's assume he can put on some weight, so that negative is out the window. Robinson is an efficient scorer, especially when going toward the basket. He has a sneaky jump shot, which is rare for a guy playing the center position. With Robin Lopez, Omer Osik and Cristiano Felicio still on the roster and not going anywhere unless traded, Robinson might have some time to develop if the Bulls wanted to go that route. Given a year, Robinson could be ready to contribute after playing some ball in the G League. Page 4, photo by Stacey Revere, Getty Images. Speaking of big men and the need to fill that void in the future, Wisconsin's Ethan Happ may just be a guy who fails to hear his name called on draft night. 6'10" power forward would be a developmental project, but he possesses a lot to like at the position, especially if the Bulls have some scoring options in place. First off, I have to cover the odd situation going on with Happ at the moment. Happ has said that if he doesn't think he'll be drafted early in the second round, he might not stay in the draft and would return to Wisconsin. While that doesn't sound promising, I'm banking on the fact that he'll take his chances and finds a home in the NBA. Happ is not a guy that has a lot of range, nor is he a bulky, bruising forward. But he does have a high basketball IQ. He is a phenomenal passer and has quick hands defensively, leading to a lot of steals. Happ is also an efficient finisher around the basket. Does he scream starter at the next level? Of course not. But he'd be a guy I'd like to see the Bulls scoop up and try out in Summer League, if that sits well with the rookie. For now, his decision is up in the air. But as the draft inches closer, we'll hear more on where he's headed. Page 5. Use your arrows to browse another player who could fail to see his name called in the draft. Played for a legendary coach who always seems to churn out professionals in one way or another. Wenyen Gabriel out of Kentucky could be yet another John Calipari product who finds himself in the NBA. Basketball Insiders currently has him ranked as the No. 76 player in this year's draft class. Of course, depending on the analyst or source, he could be higher or lower. When you're not a top 20 player in the class, things begin to get murky. Gabriel is a perfect example. Gabriel would offer the Bulls two things if he earned a spot on the roster. First, he can defend multiple positions. At 6'9", Gabriel is athletic enough to be able to switch off screens and defend positions 2 through 4 relatively well. Second, Gabriel is a great spot-up shooter. Some might remember his 7 three-pointers against Alabama last year in the SEC tournament, which was part of a 14 for 23 effort from beyond the arc in postseason play, per 247 Sports. With that said, he can't create his own shot well enough, which is one of the major reasons why he could go undrafted. However, Gabriel has become an impressive three-point shooter and would give the Bulls a potential scoring option off the bench. Use your arrows to browse